I am so happy and so honored to have some of my guests. Now, Ambrose is part of an iconic, a legendary duo that, they changed how East Africa perceived music. They changed how we felt about ourselves. This was such a huge turning point in the East African music industry that a lot of people don't even know. And I know right now we have digital, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, but then we know the people of 2022 and we don't know the people who paved the way before the diamonds of the world, you know, making people fall in love with Jose Chameleon. There was so much that you did, and I'm so happy that you're in my studio right now. Welcome to the trend, bro.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. You are a whole legend. And I wish if people understood more about music, they would know the kind of role that you played. And you're here with Kevin Provoke.
Yeah.
What it do, bro?
Kopoa.
It's been too long.
It's been too long.
Hizi dreaders zimemea.
Lazima zimee.
Hadi umeunga.
Imagine.
It's been too long. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks.
Ambrose, I want you to tell people about some of the work that you did in early 90s, early 2000s. Late 90s, early 2000s to change the game.
The light bulb just came out. Yeah, national anthem. Yeah, harmonize. No, that's a joke right there. Yeah, let's talk about the bounce, because that's the one that people resonate well with. If you talk about the bounce, like from Bamzigi to Compare with Bamboo to, you know, the transition that enabled us to take that Kenyan bounce beat to Tanzania and revert it back again as, you know, what you have now. It's that kind of a tonal journey that we've been on, like, for more than a decade.
It's been it's close to like 15 years now.
25.
It's been so long, maybe 20 years.
25.
You guys even worked with Sema, I think, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah. I did Sema, one song in Sema's album. That was 2004,
Yeah, and you worked with some big names. So how did this happen? Provoke, how did you even...
Let me tell you an interesting story about this. This guy taught me production.
These are the guys who were coming.
Bro?
Yeah, I was a 16-year-old hanging out with this guy.
How?
At this time, he was making songs like Compare. He was recording a lot of guys. Me, I'm in studio with him.
He was the intruder.
I was a rapper, actually, before anything. I was a rapper. So this guy was the guy who was producing me. But in the midst of all this,
Eric Salmon.
I want to learn production. Then he shows me some tricks here and there, and then my interest shifts to production more than rapping. Yeah.
And being in the booth.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you rapped. Because people know you more as a producer than they know you as a musician. Ambrose, if you could rate him, which one do you think if he pursued rapping, he would have been farther?
Still.
Oh, okay.
Still.
He still wants me to rap
like
till today.
But he loves the gear.
Yeah, is it his fault that you loved the gear so much?
No, not really. You know, when you do production, it's like painting. So you enjoy painting more than being the one being painted.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. So now you guys, so you were in Nairobi at the time, I imagine.
Yeah.
For you to meet him.
No. Yes.
Oh, no?
When?
Well, it was Nairobi.
When I learned production.
Yeah.
He was still in Nairobi. It was before actually the bounce.
That was now like TBTs.
This is after he has taught Musioka.
You taught Musioka?
I wouldn't say like sit down, teach a day, but you
played a role.
Yeah,
a very
because
big
they
role.
would come from school when they were Nanoma, if you remember Nanoma.
He's one of those producers who actually let people learn from him. And he never actually takes that credit.
Without a chalk, just come and be a fly on the wall and just watch how the mad scientist does his thing, and you pick a thing or two, and you go with it.
I mean, you were producing music at a time where East Africa wasn't even considered. I don't even know. We weren't even on the map when people were talking about music.
We had started actually being on the map because remember there had been Akina Ted Josiah before me, and there was also Bruce Odiambo before me, and there was Akina Suzanne Zanaziki before me. So that was happening, but we are the ones now, especially at that time, let's say at the turn of the century, 21st century, like 99, 2000, I think we're the ones now who started showing the emphasis that you can actually just be, you don't have to wait to be 35 to have a studio. You can still have it at 19 and make some great records because we were seeing that was what was happening in South Africa, in Nigeria, in Uganda. We were seeing young guys coming in and just picking the art, the crafts, and taking it to the next level. But when it comes to industrialization now, this was the place for it, because even Ugandans came and saw how we were doing it, and you know, they took that trade to across the border, and that template still works for them to date.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question, yeah? Is it true that you guys were the ones who made artists start singing in their mother tongue because you wanted them to own their culture and tell their own stories? Is that part true?
Partially true, because there was, I remember Ted had done Hardstone, and Hardstone had Uhiki, which was a Kikuyu wedding song. And he managed to put that in the domain of, you know, Caribbean influenced kind of artist. But then we decided we can also take it in hip hop. With there was a group called one of the Mau Maus. There was a crew that was rapping in purely Kikuyu, and they were really doing it with the flows, like the mad flows that we know about. You know what I mean by the flow?
Of course, I get it.
Yeah, so like they were doing it in vernacular.
Yeah, the cadence that they had. It was just that the language was different.
Yes,
it was Kikuyu.
but it was
but
really,
everything was still hip hop.
Yeah, so when that happened, I came across around that time also. I started falling in love with the Swahili, the proper Swahili. I was like, Sheng is not enough driver for the kind of rap songs I want to produce. So I fell in love with the Swahili from Tanzania, because to me it was a bit polished, and you know, the kamusi, they were like the kamusi types, like those set books we were doing, you know, those things. So, but now on a hip hop beat.
Yes.
So that's what happened, and I found myself now just frequenting Tanzania.
Alafu all of a sudden ukapotelea huko. Mpaka watu wakajua wewe ni Mtanzania.
I've always been Kenyan.
How? No, because people were like, you were there for long. Mandugu Digital is associated with Tanzania more than it is with Kenya.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Kevin, am I lying?
True.
It is very true. It is. It's very true.
It's very unfair.
But you see, us in the production field, we know them as most of the guys who actually gave us that hope of you can do anything with anything.
Yeah. Is that why you have always been so experimental with your sound?
Definitely,
and you are very bold when it comes to... Okay.
Yeah.
So it came from someone who...
Yeah, if you meet his brother, now his brother is more experimental than him.
Than even him.
Yeah.
You know, Provoke is extreme. Provoke would play beats. I'm like, what is this even? Are you know? And then I hear sounds of like will.i.am and Kanye West, and then I understand. There's a way that you change the culture and you change the dynamics of.
When I started producing, I remember I had a problem with a lot of artists. They're like, "Mbona unatengeneza beats kama za majuu?" The thing is,
to date,
it was something that I was influenced with. And I also studied in Germany. I did some sound engineering and music business there. So that's what I had always. So when I come back to ground, that's what I know how to make. So I'm bold in actually trying new things and just not doing the same thing I did. Yeah.
And now you guys have teamed up.
Yeah.
And now you're working on something. Tell me about it, Provoke.
We set up a band called Umoja Sounds, and it's more or less a producer-oriented crew, and we're actually three. Two of us are the creatives, and then there's one guy who just handles the business and the finance stuff. He's a ghost right now.
Oh, that's why he's not. But he's watching.
Yeah, he's definitely maybe watching because he's not in East Africa.
Oh, okay.
But he's East African. He's Ugandan, and what we decided to do is to do what we never did when we were doing production before. So that is actually doing music in a different format. First of all, in this situation, I'm more of an engineer than a producer in this situation, and he's the musician. He plays most of the music on it. So me, I have to just put it together properly.
Okay. Do you have a name?
Yeah, it's Umoja Sounds.
Umoja Sounds. Okay, fine.
Yeah, Umoja Sounds is the name.
Okay.
And we've featured a lot of artists from East Africa. We've done artists from Tanzania. We've done artists from Rwanda. We've done artists from UG, even Kenya. Like we've recorded last year, I think the last quarter of the year, we just toured those countries and actually recorded close to 200 songs in 2 months.
Doesn't sound too many.
200.
Doesn't sound
Yeah,
too
and
many.
we always record.
That's okay. So where can people go to like hear some of these jams that you guys have worked on?
Umoja Sounds.
Umoja Sounds is our Instagram page, and also on every DSP. We're on Spotify, iTunes, every DSP. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know that we're running out of time because I mean it's pretty late, but
Yeah.
I wish sometimes when I interview some of these guests, I'm like, maybe I should start a YouTube channel. We do these interviews for 2 hours because the history of East African music, you know, Mandugu Digital played such a vital role in it, and I think that you're not appreciated enough and you're not recognized enough because it wasn't during the digital era, you know, so people don't really know the impact that you had. But Provoke, I'm so happy that you brought Ambrose. What do you mean? This is so dope.
I'm happy.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It all makes it. Provoke has always tried to be so different. He's always just, he's like, I don't want, you know, people are listening to like, what is that, Kapuka? He's like, I'm going to make like some sounds of things that I've never heard of, and he's going to make a song out of it and have a rapper jump on it and, you know, do a jam. And if you are a rapper who also has the same feeling of not, you know, following the crowd, then, you know, you'll rock with Provoke. And I'm just so happy that you guys
Now you should hear what we are doing together.
Where can people hear what you're doing together? You've said
on
online.
Spotify.
Okay, so it's pretty
just
much
search
everywhere.
for Umoja Sounds, you'll get us.
Umoja Sounds, you find all that.
Yeah. What are you currently pushing? Which jam with who? Which artist?
Right now we have an EP out with Malin from Tanzania and Elisha Lai from Kenya.
Elisha.
And also we have an artist we're pushing a lot. Also is called Frederick Muller, and we also have Emma Cheruto from Kenya.
Emma Cheruto is also really good. You guys are on some really good talent. Ambrose, I know I really wanted to ask you a question about Homeboys, but I'm being told that we're out of time. It's okay. It's gonna sound like I'm pushing the family business.
That's gonna be a whole chapter.
Yeah, it's a whole chapter.
Whole chapter.
The connection was that deep.
Like there's a whole like series of that.
Yeah.
That entire period. Yeah.
No, we need to do another interview. We need to do another interview. But I'm so
should.
thankful. Is there anything that you want to say, Kevin, right before we close
Nah,
out?
we're good.
Yeah, you're
mostly
good?
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So please make sure that you go and you support them, and just, you know, hear the different sound that we have to offer here in East Africa, and the fact that they're getting it from all over. So it's Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda, and you know they're going to sort of like branch off all over the continent because right now music is changing. Did you guys ever see this happening? That Africa is now the biggest place where people are getting inspiration from music and fashion.
Yeah, we actually saw it coming.
We saw it coming.
A long time ago.
We saw it coming.
You both saw it
like,
coming?
We were having these conversations with Provoke about when are we going to do something concrete. Like over the years, like since, you know. And this is the time now when we were like, okay, now this is the time to do that thing we've been talking
about for that long.
We've been nagging at each other about, now this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, here we are.
Here we are. It's time for Africa. Ambrose Mandugu Digital and Kevin Provoke, award-winning producer from right here in the 254. And I'm so thankful you guys came out and closed my show. Thank you so much to all of my other guests who came through. Thank you to Janet representing EABL as they celebrate 100 years. We've told you that the auditions are going to be taking place tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. You have Femi One, you have Red Sun, you have Calligraph, and you have Jua Kali. And I also need to send a few shout-outs. You know, when I remove these things from my back, I'm sorry, it's because sometimes I put my phone here. I'm sorry. I just real quick, I need to send shout outs to who? To Halfman Flex, Mudhoni, and Okendi. Thank you so much for watching the show, you guys.